Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome so much. Welcome so much. Who says that? Welcome to the GGJ Prep Week. We are on day 5. It's Friday. Can you believe it? We're about a week out from our upcoming jam. We do start on Monday. A lot of jammers will be starting their jams next Friday. But this week is just an opportunity for you to get to know some of our sponsors and some tools that are available for you to use during GGJ. Today, we have a live stream with the developers from Jammio. And if you don't know what Jammio is, it is such a cool product, especially if you have if you are an online or a hybrid game jam that's coming up next week. This is a tool that will greatly help you if you are looking for assistance with making those teams. So just a little bit of a rundown. Jammio is a Discord bot that helps hosts of game jams and hackathons easily enroll members. They organize Discord channels, distribute teams into channels, and effortlessly tear down everything at the end of the event. So in your Discord, it will be seamless as if it was never there, but you have some great products that come out of it. It's the world's best and friendliest tool to help create and organize a great event. It's an easy to use, cost-effective way to run the world's best events and keep your jammers happy and ready to be creative. I'm Jess Rowley, and I am the Events and Program Manager for Global Game Jam, and I'm going to bring on Wesley and Tom to the stage.
Hi, great to be here.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much.
I am voice only today.
That's okay.
RIP your webcam.
No. This is my actual face. I am
Oh.
a circle with
Wild.
a human icon.
I've been working with you for a long time, and I didn't know that. So
This is
that's
the real me. Sorry to say.
I mean, that's kind of what remote work is all about, right?
Oh, yeah.
You just never
Yeah.
know.
Of course, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today, guys. I really appreciate you coming in this Friday. I'm really excited for you two to show us what Jammio is all about, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are like a game dev studio in Ohio, and we have also been hosting GDEX, which is a big, like, basically our summit of indie game development. And one of the things we've done every year for our GDEX convention is to have a game jam around it. And every time we did it, it would be a whole lot of work. We use Discord to do these, and it would always be a lot of work. And I'd end up basically just constantly bouncing around every team, dealing with little channel permissions, somebody doesn't have access to something, something's going wrong. So we eventually just built ourselves, and it used to just run on my computer, but we built ourselves a Discord bot to try to organize basically a Discord server for the purpose of a game jam, and to do a lot of like little quality of life things, which basically let us, the hosts, just like go through each channel and check on everybody. It basically just takes away a lot of the busy work and lifting from setting these up in Discord and then tearing them down afterward. You just got to point your jammers at the registration channel and tell them to register, and then they'll be able to get like basically self-signed in, and then they can find each other and make teams, and then each team gets their own channels where they have essentially moderator permissions just within those channels, so they can pin their own messages. They can basically they can do a lot more than, if you're just using your server and giving people normal user access. You're creating channels, you're going to have dozens, maybe hundreds of channels, and they're all going to have separate permissions from each other. So that's essentially the core of what Jammio is a way to centralize all those permissions, so that you can just specify what the policies for the jam are, and it'll just kind of keep it all going for you. So the other cool thing that we did last year, was a system that we call a Mega Jam system, which we work with Global Game Jam and anybody else who wants to host one of these. But essentially, we can use Global Game Jam's server, which I got right here. We can use their server to basically show a list of every connected jam. So everybody who's hosting their jams on Discord, they can get their jam site linked to from the central Global Game Jam site automatically. They can specify if they want random people to join the jam, or if they're like more of a private community, they don't have to open their doors to random inviters, but it lets the people who are just looking for a place to jam, they can go to the Global Game Jam site, and any of these sites that are registered on the Mega Jam will show up there. So we're actually going to be setting up the Mega Jam later tonight. So this is just more of an introductory stream. And if you're interested in the tool, then just pay attention to the Global Game Jam Discord, because that's where the Mega Jam will show up. And I'll be around pretty much all the way through the jam to help support people if they run into problems setting up. It is still a fairly small tool just because we're scaling up with our user base. So we're just going out looking for the people for whom this is actually useful, and just showing them how it works. So and
Yeah,
Wes, do you want to step in and
I was gonna say I've been helping with Tom. So my main thing, I mean, obviously we work with GDEX, the gaming expo that we host in Central Ohio, US, and I've been working with also our communities. One of them is in local here is the Central Ohio Game Dev Group, or COG, and we have been able to use this tool in a couple of our jams, especially for Global Game Jam, as a way to set up teams really quickly. In person, normally what I would do is I would go around and I would say, okay, cool. Like when we're forming teams, who here is a technical person? Who is a creative? Who is, more of a management or a designer? And separate them off kind of more or less in those three groups. And kind of just do a head count, right? Like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. Cool. We've got 3 people. Let's get like 2 more, et cetera, et cetera. And it's easier that way in person. And then when COVID happened, it was kind of difficult to really do that through Discord because you really have to have a lot of permissions and you have to kind of pre-set up channels and teams, and then you have to duplicate them if you have not enough. And that's where Tom kind of came in, and he was kind of doing this on his own through, a multitude of different servers, just kind of playing with a tool with a bot. And then we were like, well, why don't we just make this into a game jam making tool and have people go through a wizard that they ask questions for the bot, and the bot will set up the team for them. They would do things like make their own team. They can have an open or closed. They can do a solo team. They can have obviously our goal is to have multiple people in teams. They can choose, little things like a color for the team. They can choose the name of the team, and really go from registering through Jammio and kind of beyond like a list, what we call a roster, waiting to join a team or already making one, to having Jammio create those channels, like a text channel and a voice channel in a separate category in Discord, and have them show what those teams are, and have them have the ability to update those. What's also really cool is anything that jammers can do through Jammio, the server owners can also do on their behalf. So if someone really gets stuck, say they can't understand the wizard or they're trying to figure things out, they can perform those commands in their behalf. And so what my role has always been is just kind of play testing this with Tom and making sure it works appropriately, and just kind of going through the design so it kind of makes sense if something's stuck or something's not working correctly. We kind of been tag teaming, kind of working through that. Definitely, Tom is the brains of the operation, so technical aspects you can ask him. But for the most part, it's been each year kind of getting better and better and better. So really, what we're trying to do, especially this year, because we have it all open, free for you guys to use. We want you to test it. We want you to try it out, see if you like it, and hopefully, it's an opportunity for you to tell us what you think and think there's can be improvements. Because our goal really is to help grow the gaming community, and we love Global Game Jam because it's been an amazing way to kind of get to network with a lot of people from around the world. And we hope that you guys continue to jam and create. And we hope that this tool is a great way to kind of help give you guys something to spin up and spin down, game jams pretty quickly with your teams, no matter where you are. And especially for us, we're actually going to go to our local Columbus College of Art and Design College this year for COG. And we're going to be using this for all communications, just like we did last year. So anyways, that's kind of my spiel a little bit. But yeah, if you wanted to kind of go over,
yeah
some of the the channels and whatnot. Tom, you
Right.
can go through some of those from maybe just a jammer
Yeah.
standpoint first.
So just from an entry level for everybody, we have a website for the service. It's at jammio.xyz, which is pretty standard address for a lot of Discord bots out there. But we have a full website for the service. And the partnership we're doing with
Excuse me.
Global Game Jam this year will let you use it for entirely for free, no matter how big your site is. But anybody with fewer than 20 jammers that are at their site can always use Jammio for free. So we only ask larger sites to start to pay, because that's where the time save really comes in, is when you have a lot of jammers, and B, that's where the costs for our service come in, when we got a computer to feed. So yeah, we want everybody to try it out this year. So that's kind of the impetus for partnering. And we are setting up the Mega Jam so that when you link your site to the Mega Jam, it'll just give you limitless access for the duration of Global Game Jam, and it'll persist for a week or two after. So you'll be able to take your data off of it after the jam without it just getting deleted suddenly. But yeah, so and from our perspective, we really want to get Jammio out there more, because that and we're such a niche tool where there's not that many. There's just like raw numbers wise, there's like just not that many. Like it's not the kind of Discord bot that every server needs to have in it. In fact, we've done a lot of design work with it to make it easy to make it leave and to clean up everything, and and we're taking a lot of pains to like not have access to any data from your server outside of the specific jam channels. So it's a very secure tool. It's not looking at any other channel in your server. When you invite it, but you can go to jammio.xyz, and normally you'll land on it. It'll say use Discord to connect, so you can just sign in with the normal Discord OAuth. Then you have a dashboard where you can see all of your servers that you're the owner of, which will let you invite Jammio. Even if you don't have any servers, you can still see user information. This is where you can set your default kind of baseline skill that you're most likely to bring to a jam. So the other thing we want to do with this is make it a tool for jammers themselves, and just build up a network of jams that have been run through Jammio. We'll know that people did a particular role in that jam, and they can build up, like, basically accumulate, like, we'll keep track of all the jams that you have participated in, and give you a nice little page to show like all the little things you've done over time. So that's sort of like the benefit to just a jammer who's not even a jam host, is we're planning to do stuff like that with the service. But yeah, when you invite Jammio to a new server, it'll pop in and it'll make a little admin channel for you to use, and pretty much all the explanations are in here. This is one of the special servers, or this is one of the special channels where Jammio is in full control of the channel. So unlike a lot of Discord bots, which are they can kind of be anywhere in the server and you use them with slash commands, Jammio, we're really trying to only keep it in these jam channels, and by which, if it's in complete control of the channel, then we don't really care about syntax or anything. So like this is just in Jammio's server, which is a public server for anybody. If you're trying to use Jammio and having trouble, this is where I'm monitoring uh for any problems, so you can always hop in here and ask for help. But I'm just going to play with Jammio here, so I'll initiate a new jam. I just type initiate jam, and it starts a conversation, and this is kind of the core loop of how Jammio works. So um once Discord respects our tool, because we're in enough servers and they verify us, then I'm going to change this to only show the person who's talking to Jammio the message, because you have to use slash command or be a verified app to use that feature. So but so it can get a little crowded if you get a whole group of like 50 people and you tell them all to talk to Jammio at once. They're all going to get their own conversation in the channel. So that'll be a lot better once we're able to do like only you can see this message stuff. But all conversations work basically the same way. It'll try to recognize which command you're trying to do. If it doesn't recognize a command, then it'll tell you. It'll say, "I didn't know what that means." If it doesn't, like if you give it, if it recognizes the command but it doesn't recognize what you're trying to do with it, it'll try to work with you to for each specific sub step to make sure that there's always some instruction of what you're supposed to do at any given time. So here I started an initiate jam command, which is going to go through all of the settings for a jam. Most of them can be skipped. Like there's default settings for everything, but right now it's just like the way the flow works is you just got to do it as this conversation. So I'm gonna say, drag this over.
Well,
I'm gonna
the big thing here too, because I know this can be a lot of information at first. I would
yeah.
always say when you're talking to Jammio, just kind of read it like you would a script, right? So just kind of
Mhm.
look at the bottom of your text channel that when you're talking to Jammio, and this can be
What
any channel, right?
whatever its
Tom?
most recent message. This is in the specific managed channels, like the admin
Yeah,
channel or the register channel.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah. So when you're setting up a jam, that's where you would start,
right.
is the admin Jammio channel, and you would type in initiate, right? Yeah. And you can see up there in code 0:initiate jam, it's kind of tracking what you're doing.
Yeah,
So
it's just
far, you
showing you
said,
your most recent replies. That way, if you're like, "Oh, did Jammio hear me?" It gives you a little confirmation of whether or not it heard you.
right.
So then each step will have its own, and for normal jammers, they really, the commands are very short. The long commands are involved with jam hosting because they're the commands that you only need to do once. You're setting up the policies for the whole jam for the entire event. So there's a lot of things to go through, but we're just gonna zip through. I'm just gonna example jam 2025 as my display name. It'll give you a little confirmation for each sub step. So acronym, it uses those to make shorter channel names. So it's optional. You can not have an acronym and it'll just take the jam name and it'll make all of your channel names using that. So it's recommended you do. So I'll just do like EJ25,
Oh, hey, Tom,
example jam.
would you be able to move the Discord over to the right?
Oh,
I
shoot.
guess who people type in.
My
Yeah, there you go. Now you can see your text box.
head in the way. Yeah, okay. So
Head's
yeah,
never in the way.
you know, like I gave it a little acronym. That way it'll be able to make shorter names in the channels. The external host is something that's going to be relevant for the Global Game Jam Mega Jam because that's the site URL on Global Game Jam, and that's how the Mega Jam is going to authenticate your site. Because you're going to have to say, here is our site's URL on the Global Game Jam sites page for 2025, and that's how it'll. If you don't give it a valid Global Game Jam site, then it's going to be like, well, you can't link to Global Game Jam because you're not a real site yet. But so in this case, I'm just going to skip it. If I had the Mega Jam up, I would probably just do that. But for now, I'm just going to skip through this. Then we go through some timestamps, which are just, you can set them to the local time that your server is respecting. Jammio is always going to tell you what time zone it's working in, so you'll always know if you're seeing a date from Jammio that it's got a time zone with it. So for internationalization, we are going to add the fancy embedded timestamps in Discord through the Markdown that Discord added. That's really an exciting feature that I can't wait to stick in, so that Jammio can just use those already converted, already like rendered local for each person timestamps. But all of the timestamps are optional for jams. The Mega Jam will set them to Global Game Jams deadlines, so those will already be set up for you when you link a new site to the Mega Jam.
Well, and that's something good to note is that he's skipping a bunch of this stuff, but it's creating a core shell so that if you ever need to go back and change things, you
Right.
can always have the chance to do that, which is important,
exactly.
right? Because you may
Yeah,
change the name or whatever, and then Jammio
right.
works its best
Mhm.
to change everything appropriately.
Right. So yeah, if you use the initiate jam command after you've already got a running jam, then it lets you go through and modify settings and it'll update the jam in place. So nothing you're doing is like irrevocable. This setting's interesting. We're kind of through all the deadlines. There's going to be one more deadline for the Mega Jam, which will be when the jam will tear itself down after the Global Game Jam is over. But that's not here on this screen right now. But team privacy is a newer feature we added. It makes Jammio more useful in, say, academic contexts, or if you have like a gaming group where you're just trying to make like breakout rooms for the group, because the privacy options are private, which is default, where you can only see the team that you're in, so it keeps the server nice and clean. People can just focus on the specific channels they're working in. But then read only is an alternative that I can use in my classrooms, for instance, where I only want people to talk in their own team, but I want them to be able to see each other's teams and see what they're doing. So that's an option if you want your jam to work like that, where you can only talk to your own team, but you can see everything. And then public would be, yeah, anybody can do anything they want in any team channel. So that's an option if you don't mind the chaos. But for a large jam, it's going to have a lot of activity in your server, so that can be pretty overwhelming for most jams, and that's why the default is always going to be private. So if you're not reading and you're just skipping all of these, then you'll get a reasonable private jam for everybody, and then you can always go back and change it if you want. If you want to open up the teams to each other, you can come back and set that to one of the other settings. And then this is a really new one. I actually made it in advance of the Mega Jam for 2025. But the default teardown flavor is just like when the jam ends, do you prefer that everything gets wiped completely? Or would you rather that Jammio just like forget about it, but leave everything behind and then the admins or whoever can clean it up however they want. So that's sort of the option is the soft teardown mode if you don't want to see everything get deleted. So if you're setting up Jammio with the Global Game Jam Mega Jam, this is what's gonna like basically the jam is gonna tear itself down after the Global Game Jam is over, and this is the setting you would use if you actually wanted to spare the channels and let you keep them. So it'll remind you to set that when you're linking to the Mega Jam. But it's a nice feature. In the future, we're planning on having the jam data be securely made available on our website for just the people who originally had access to that data. But when right now, the way the service works, everything stays on Discord, so it's very simple. And we'll obviously tell everybody if we ever change that policy with how we use the data. Right now, we don't keep any user data. The only thing we keep on our website is like unique identifiable IDs to recognize you as a user, and like the names of the jams and like how many people were in them. So we're only just keeping very small records of the jams, and it'll be obvious if you're using the service, and we're archiving data and things. That's planned in the further future, but we're just bootstrapping up right now. This latest setting for a jam is the site invite URL. So this will be required to link as a mega jam, because this is how you're gonna provide the Global Game Jam admins with an invite to your server so that they can come and help and support. And if you are um, curious, like that invite URL, when the Mega Jam is live, people on the Global Game Jam server will be able to go through the list of all of the sites that are signed up. You do have to provide this invite URL, but it doesn't have to be public. So I'm going to skip this, but that's just basically it's used for the Global Game Jam admins to verify that you're a real site and that you don't need help. And then otherwise, it's just if you choose to make your site open to the public, then people can use that invite URL to join your site, but that's only if you choose to make it public. Finally, there's a VIP role system. So this is a way to take any other role that you might have on your server. You can basically set up some custom roles outside of the Jammio system that Jammio will give special access to all the channels. So we use this for our GDEX game jam for like we call them like expert reviewers, judges, peer reviewers, just like industry experts. We sometimes get coming in and volunteering to like look at the teams and see if they can provide insight. So that's kind of what the VIP roles are for, is if you just have any other, it's not somebody who's managing the jam, but it's just somebody who's like coming in and helping out the teams directly, then you can tell Jammio which roles in your server are meant to be VIPs, and then they'll be able to get access. But I can just skip that. And then almost every command will give you final confirmation you'll have to say yes to. And once you do that, it'll start spitting stuff out.
Something that's also nice about these commands. Now, this is the setup of the jam, but most of the commands that you have, like you can skip, kind of move on to the next one where applicable. They also have truncated commands too. So like we got things like register can also be typed as reg for register for shorthand. And a lot of these commands were made just because people kind of coming back and forth and changing and updating things. We feel like that would probably be a good one to have, and you'll see it. So if you look up there, jammers looking for team 0, right? That's another command that we could talk about. You'll see use the LFJ command, and if it's like highlighted in the kind of dark color with white text, like that, like a code-based,
A little code
little
block.
little highlight, little code block, you'll know that's a command that Jammio usually can just recognize. So you can type it, and it'll reply depending on that. You can also type the whole thing if you want, but the shorthand's also really useful.
Yep. So with this new jam that I have, I would then just tell all of my jammers to just come to this registration channel and just say register. They just come in here and say register. Jammio does little feedback things to let you know that it's working on your command. Right now, it's giving me the hourglass because it's actually not done building the rest of the jam. So it set up the role assign channel where registered jammers can go to pick their role, whether they're a programmer or an artist or like a planner or something in between. And then there's like a public chat for anybody in your server who's just like, hey, I'm going to talk to the jammers. And there's a jammer chat for just for registered jammers only. And it sets up mod resources so you can delegate other people in your server to that Jammio will listen to them as though they are you and let them do some of the high level commands for the site. So you can specify admins that can create jams, or just mods which are just going to be within a single jam, and they're just able to see everybody and do commands through Jammio to help people if they need help. So now I'm registered, I believe. Or no, I'm still waiting for it to register me because it's still built.
Did you want me to try registering? I've got this up.
Yeah, if you're in the room, go ahead. So there, I said register. It said I have accepted your username.
We're gonna poke it.
If you've never used the service before, then oh yeah, there it goes. If you've never used the service before, then it will actually say, "Hey, do you accept the terms of service for the Jammio service?" And it'll give you a link to our privacy policy and our terms of service. So that's pretty. Like I said, we're not storing any data, so there's not too much in here of note.
Yeah, and if you guys have questions about that, please let us know. We're happy to kind of go in more details on that. But it was a lot of requests when we were testing this, like what's going with all this data, and we've done a lot to kind of ensure the security of that. So
Yeah.
just wanted to be upfront about that. But yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. Like anything else that would be a Discord bot, we work to handle on our end pretty significantly. So but yeah, if you want to show
Yeah, it's nice when you register, the public channel will just spit out a little message
Yep.
to give you the feed of who's joining. As an admin, you'll always have an audit log for just everything. So if there is a problem with your, if something goes wrong with your site, then you'll see a message come in here about it. And that's like basically if you jump to the Jammio support server and ask me for help, I probably already saw, because usually logs like that will show up here for me. So I have a pretty fast response if something goes wrong, which is, I don't know, just a benefit of everything's really custom built here. So yeah, but we got a jam. It's got audit log, mod channel for your mods, registration channel for everybody, for all the teams and jammers.
Yeah, so if you
Uh,
got mods, think of that as other site organizers' ability to do admin commands.
yep.
So if it's not just you setting up the server for Jammio, you want a couple other people, you can have them go there.
Yeah, because again, anybody who Jammio thinks of as a mod or an admin can do any command for any user by starting the command with the word admin. So if I like if I want to maliciously deregister Wes, I can say admin deregister Wolfgamer, and then
Sad face.
yep, and you're out of here. Actually,
'Cause
I think that might not have worked, but that might be because you just now joined.
okay.
But or maybe it did work. We'll find out. Now there's going to be an announcements channel, which will be a way for if you're a linked mega jam, we're going to use this as where the global game jam can propagate announcements to all the linked sites, and they'll come up in this announcements channel. We also want
Oh,
the
I know why it didn't work. I'm
oh
using my test account.
oh right, yeah, you're Randy Bojangles now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good catch. Yeah, that actually is not a bug at all. That's perfect.
I mean, my tag name's always
Randy
Wolf.
Bojangles. Now, yeah, so when I do admin deregister, I have to give it your Discord username, the unique username, not the one with the pound and the numbers after it. That's like the old one. But yeah, you feed it the username, and then it'll show that it is an admin overridden command, whatever command it was, and it'll say who you're running the command on behalf of, so you can confirm. And then the command is essentially normal after that. It's just like the user would see it. It just has some extra stuff at the top to be like it's an admin override. But yeah, so I'm gonna confirm, and then boom, I can kick
And now, if you scroll to the
West.
top, I am not in what we've been calling as the teamless jammers, because when you join Jammio, you're basically put into a pool of teamless jammers because you may not know what team you're part of,
Right.
but at least they're going to give you the role so you can see all the other channels within that game jam you created.
This is a huge part of it for the managers, whoever's running the site, because then as the entire jam is self-registering and creating teams and joining teams, they'll be able to just see who is floating to the top as like needing help because they don't have a team yet.
So I was gonna say, because I know we're moving through a bit. Did you want to make a team?
Yeah, sure. I'll make it quick.
Because I just went ahead and re-registered. Now at this point, like if you've got if you got a bad actor, right, like someone who's kind of being malicious or whatever, you need to move. As a Discord, you still have the ability to kick people and ban people, obviously, if they're in there. Jammio will kind of circumvent all that, but for the most part, if you just need to kind of remove them from the jam itself, that's how you would do it.
Yeah, admin deregister them. If you kick them out of your server, it should catch that and deregister them. There's so many different facets, I can't test everything,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that does work. So if you need to kick ban somebody, don't worry about your jam. And if it does leave a weird ghost record in your data, you can admin deregister them to
Yeah.
clean it out. So yeah, I'm creating a team. It just asks for the name of the team. Now you can the name can be anything, and it can also include emoji. So that's always a fun thing that people want to do. So
Yeah.
I'll do like a
We've had
it's got to be a standard emoji though. So let's go duck
right. Yeah, you never know if
squad,
people from
and then the desired team name is Duck Squad. But you'll see it gives you a confirmation of the name will only be Team Squad because the channel names may not always be able to support these emojis. Even if they can for real, I've made it so that Jammio has to know ahead of time that it will, and it's basically like I need to come up with a better solution to identify which emoji are actually safe to use in channel names because it's not consistent in Discord. So I haven't completely squashed that problem, but you can I'm just like I don't want it to just be Team Squad. I want to make sure the duck is actually in there. So I'm
wrong
gonna
one.
yeah, I know. Yeah. So I'm gonna try a different name. I'll just put the word duck in there. Then okay, well, there's an extra underline. That's not ideal. But actually, I might be able to get rid of that by taking the space away. So if I use the duck emoji as the space, okay, Duck Squad, all one word. That works too. I'll actually take that. I will take Team Duck Squad. So then, yeah. So like, this is what's nice about Jammio, the
So you can play
conversation
around with
system.
it
You
a
can
bit.
play around with it, right? You're not every step is like gonna
Not
give
not
you
confirmed until you
confirmation.
hit Y or yes
Yeah.
or no or in for not confirmed, obviously, and it'll jump you out of the wizard.
So now we got Duck Squad. The emoji made it into the category name.
Cool.
And
So we got a text channel and a voice
yeah.
channel that I cannot see because I'm not part of that team, but I
Yes.
can join that team.
So now let me show this real quick. If I
Yeah.
switch to the jammer role, so this is the role of that Jammio creates to keep track of just who is registered. If I view the server as this role, you can see I can see that this is like all I can see. I can't see the team because the jam
Yep.
setting is private.
So
So
essentially, that's what I see right now
yeah, but if
because I don't have a team. I don't have Duck Squad team role
right,
yet.
once you switch to Duck Squad, then Duck Squad shows up,
Right.
and if you set the jam to public, then you can see everything, but you still have
How,
to be registered. But
however,
get out of
if I
this.
join his team, now I can do that. So you want me to demonstrate that real quick?
Yeah. Join the join
So if we go back to registration, I'll type in join, and it'll ask me searching for teams. So if I type in duck, will it work?
Yeah, I think it'll work because
Yeah. Okay.
because Duck Squad is the only team.
So
You just need any letter from the word
so
Duck Squad.
that's the nice thing too is you don't have to type every single character. You can be kind of a little bit shorthand.
Yeah, you don't need to know the exact name of the team as long as you got like a piece of it. Then Jammio will, and if you have ambiguity, then Jammio will show you a list of like, oh, did you mean Duck Squad or did you mean Duck Hunters or I don't know, whatever the name might be. But yeah, if you have ambiguous, if they're searching and there's more than one team that fits the search, then it'll show both of them and say, do you want one of these or do you want to try a search again? Um, but
So
yeah, so that's the
so
kind of depth it
now
goes into to help you out. Uh,
now I've joined Duck Squad, and you'll notice in the text channel, I'm able to type in there because I see it.
yep.
So we're
You're
now good to
actually a
go.
mod, right? You can pin messages in here. You can pin your own message.
I don't think I'm a mod. This is a test account, so like
No, I mean like within this channel, it should
oh,
try to see if it can let you pin your own message.
let's see. Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Cool. So now I can save, like if you want to use this as a scratch pad for ideas, now you can
Can
there's
you
like the
are you able to create another channel within the Duck Squad group?
no,
The little plus
I don't
doesn't
think
come up.
so. No, not like yours. But pinning is really nice if, say, you have ideas and you want everybody to access them. A pin in Discord is kind of like a note that you can access later. So I went ahead and rolled over my message, and there's a little 3 dots that kind of give you options for pin. And then at the top, there should be a little pin icon, and you can go back to your messages from before, which is really helpful. Yeah, so we've got like under a minute, so I just wanted to make sure we got a little bit
Yeah.
here and there, but
Yeah, that's I mean, it is really the gist because as a host, what's cool about this is you can collect like once you get a bunch of teams signed up, the teams themselves won't be cluttered up with every other team in the world. And as a host, you can kind of keep them all collapsed and you'll see activity when it happens. And you can always keep an eye on the registration channel and just look for those unteamed, those jammers that haven't found a team yet, because those are really, and the jammers have ways to like do rudimentary matchmaking with these looking for commands. And to sort themselves by skill. So it empowers the jammers a lot to like self sort. But we also are planning to do all kinds of fun stuff like be able to run events where the whole point of the event is to just like randomize the teams when the jam gets kicked off. Like that's going to be a lot of fun. That's like something that we wanted to do that, and then Jammio got built as a side effect of us trying to do that. Trying to have like one shot random team jam. So this is just kind of the fun. Like we're
so
always
what
online to support. Yeah, go
what
ahead,
I
Will.
would like to get as a hook for folks, if they're trying to figure out how to get started today, all I would do is go to jammio.xyz. That'll take you to our Discord bot. When you sign into Discord online, you can then invite it to your server. And we have a support tab that will give you access to our Discord and all that good stuff. And that's kind of where you can go if you have questions. We also have a Jammio channel in the Global Game Jam Discord channel, so you can find us there if you have any
Yeah,
questions.
we
And
have
we're happy to go
it's
over all the details
right
if
here.
you
It's
are playing
Jammio
around with
channel.
it.
I will if you speak here, I do monitor the Jammio channel in the Global Game Jam channel. So if you're interested in Jammio, keep an eye on the Global Game Jam server because we're gonna have the Mega Jam spun up, and I'll be around to help people use it if they're interested. So really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I mean, this is such a useful tool. As someone who's run other game jams in the past, this would have been so helpful to have as an easier way to hold networking sessions too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and if for anybody who is watching this afterwards, this will be going live in the GGJ Discord. And again, if you have any questions about it, you can reach out directly. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks so much for everybody's time. And there's another stream coming up in the next 15 minutes. And it's about creating safer communities in gaming. So hope you guys stay tuned and we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Enjoy your jamming.
Bye-bye.